What's up,
Hey
Lawrence
fam.
siblings? Um,
Hi guys.
we are here to discuss and do a little breakdown of the Something in the Water acoustic arrangement, which is nominated for a Grammy for all three of us, which is pretty crazy. And I feel like, honestly, one of the questions that we get in general is like for an inside look into how these arrangements come together or just like our thoughts on them. So, thought this felt like a great opportunity for us to just like give a little BTS breakdown of the arrangement. I figured we could talk about a little bit about the making of the arrangement and then maybe even like just watch the video down and do kind of like a live reaction of like us calling out, director's commentary style, anything that comes up.
Love it.
Um, Linus, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I've been better. I currently have the flu, so
Ugh.
I'm not at my best. I certainly couldn't perform the arrangement right now, but
Yeah,
I can try my best to talk about it without coughing.
I'm sorry that you're so sick,
It's
but
all
it's that time of year. Um, okay, so I thought the first thing that'd be fun is so just in terms of like how our process usually works is like often Gracie and I will chat about what we want to incorporate into a video. So into an acoustic-ish. So it might be like, oh, let's make a big break here where there usually isn't a break, or broader things like let's add a whole section to this part. We'll kind of talk big picture. Then Gracie will start thinking about what that means arrangement wise for the cinematography and the blocking and like really these videos are really a marriage between like a musical arrangement and a visual
Yeah.
presentation, and then we'll start bouncing ideas off of each other.
And I also think in general, like we want to think about what even the overall vibe of the video
Yeah.
of the direction of the arrangement should be. Like, are we making this into a more stripped down version? Is this gonna, even though it's acoustic-ish, is it supposed to feel bigger? Like, how do we want people?
Is it more theatrical? Is it
Yeah.
funkier? Is it
What's
more
the new direction we're taking this in
yeah.
that makes it exciting and different than the original version?
And a fun extra spice for this one was that we asked Linus to co-arrange it with us, partially because this is a song off the album that we knew he really liked, which we were flattered by, and also because he is an amazing vocal arranger, and then also because, ironically, given Linus's current sickness, I was really sick during the week that we needed to make this video, so I we just needed help, honestly. And so Linus kind of jumped into action and immediately made this file, which is called Algo and La
right.
Agua.
I'm aware that apparently it's El Agua.
I was
Mm.
about to say it's surprisingly, yeah,
El
All of our
Agua.
past Spanish teachers are definitely not going to be happy.
really disappointed in you.
Well,
I also want it to be known that this file was made uh, after a very long game of Blood on the Clock Tower, which is a social deduction game that Clyde and I both like. But I almost did not make this demo because the game almost went so long that he was like, "I'm feeling so sick, but I'm just gonna start arranging it unless you like have something to send me soon."
yeah, so I mean, look, Blood on the Clock Tower is the priority, obviously. But here, I'm just going to play it. Hopefully, let me know if you guys are able to hear this, and that will hopefully mean that it is being recorded. But this is the arrangement that Linus sent me. So he's going off of just the original recording.
I wanna know. I think there's something in the water. I gotta know.
So adding those beefy harmonies.
Everybody goes and moves to LA, and I say there's no way you'll be seeing me join them. And everybody's got a kid on the way, but if I did, I'm afraid I would just.
It's crazy how much you sound like the Beach Boys.
I think there's something in the water. I gotta know. I think Something in the water, the water.
So you can hear, if you're familiar with the video, that like that is a lot of the shape of what is in there, and then
Yeah.
there's some little tweaks. Sounds so good.
Everything you do, Linus, just like sounds like the Beach Boys. Like your
Totally.
voice is just so Brian Wilson. It's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
there's definitely some of it that like there's certain ideas in there that really did like stay in and make it. I mean, some of the specific like voicings and stuff, but also
Yeah.
the things that stayed in the shape of it, but changed some of the actual specifics of it. which was really
Totally.
nice.
Like a few of the chords.
Well, the last that first
last-
one,
At the
yeah,
end there.
in the bridge, both where it switches to Oz, I switched a little earlier, which would be a little more of the Beach Boys thing to go and have it on Ah there, but I think we kept it at ooh and then switched to Ah for the end of it, and also
Right.
whether it's ah or ah as the
Right,
last note.
right.
Right.
Very Lawrence to do the 5 at the end of that.
Yeah.
But so then
And
basically,
to not have the 4 in the last chord at all, because I also had it in the lower voicing, I think.
right. So Linus came over then to my house. By the way, the reason why my Zoom says Jordan Cohen is because I'm on Jordan's computer, but I am Clyde Lawrence. And Linus came over. We then made a more fleshed out demo of this, and we were in consultation with Gracie about it. And basically, we finished the arrangement, which, in terms of the materials that we provide, we had a little technical difficulty. We are back, but we are now going to talk about what the materials are that me and Linus then made with Gracie's consultation after Linus delivered that demo. So we kind of, when we flesh out the demo, we make two things. One is this splitter page where we make a demo that we upload to the internet where everyone can listen to their individual part. But then we also, side by side with that, make this spreadsheet, which is kind of my substitution for sheet music. I don't know why, I just find this so much easier to read, and hopefully the other people we work with understand it too.
Also, just to be clear, there's like another tab on this sheet where people who, for it's easier for them, can have
Right.
it in notes. Like, I think most of the backing vocalists look at this version of it, even though me and you use the scale degrees.
Some of them definitely do the scale degrees, I know, but yes, it's a mix.
I've seen Ron for sure use the scale degrees, I think.
Yes, I think Ron is a scale degrees person. But yes, so like what this means, for anyone that doesn't understand, is like this is that main riff. It's like 5 5 4 3 2 3 1 5 5 4 3 2 3 1 5 2 3 2 1, and then like Rebby's part in the chorus would be like wanna know, because that's the ones, versus Nathan's the 5 wanna know, Bree's the 3 wanna know, so on and so forth. Or like this moment at the end, which we'll look at later, is like, you know, Ron's part would be water, or water, water, 5 6 1 2 1 2 3 4 3 5. So it's like kind of giving all this stuff. And so we deliver that to everyone in conjunction with this demo that Linus and I made, which we can listen to a bit of right now. You're going to hear me and Linus singing. So someone could listen to like their own part alone. Or here's like one of the...
Clyde pitch shifted
Right.
on the lead vocals.
Here's me.
Everybody thinks that changing is cool, but I don't, and I don't.
I do a mean Gracie.
I got it.
I'm offended.
Everybody's got a dog and a wife, and I can't, for the life of me, think why they'd wanna. I wanna know.
So we can just listen to like someone
I think this
for a
song-
second. Let's see what Nathan's part is there.
I also feel like this is a good shout to talk about how helpful Splitter has been.
Yeah,
Like,
thank you.
Splitter has been so helpful for us, not just as like a tool to show fans how like our arrangements work or the the stems of our songs, but like
Internal.
we use it internally in this way, and it's so helpful. And like during the recording of these sessions, like everyone just has the Splitter up just so at any given moment they could solo their part and listen to it.
Shout out to me and Jonny for making Splitter. So yeah, you can hear like starting the second verse, we did some slight alterations on that original Linus demo. Like I think we
You
have
added the pad 1 and 5 at the first half.
right. So if you got rid of the instruments, and this is a big thing that I am really into vocally, is like having vocals that are just like doing stuff that doesn't necessarily tell you what the chords are because they're being supplemented by the chords. So like this is just pads on the 1 and the 5. But when you add, when you add this to that, it just creates a nice suspension on those chords. And here's where so like a lot of that doesn't even tell you the chord movement. That's why I love arranging not for a cappella, but for piano and vocal, because it allows you to have the piano broadcast the chords. And then have the vocals kind of almost paint around it. And then that's probably my favorite part of the arrangement.
Right. It's kind of like to extrapolate on what you just said, Clyde.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
feel like it's like knowing what the function of the vocals are in this arrangement rather than it being like the basis of the arrangement is vocals. It's like it's a supplemental element that like we're highly featuring and often gets like a spotlight, but it's not like the foundation of the arrangement.
Yeah, and if you were to look at this sheet, like look at the amount of 5s, 1s, and 3s. It's like a lot of 5s, 1s, and 3s, which for any music theory people, like those are the notes in like the 1 major chord. And like very often these 5s, 1s, and 3s that you're seeing are being sung over chords on the piano that are not the 1 major. But by having the piano there, it allows those 5s and 1s and 3s in the vocals to kind of create this really warm extension or like suspension on the chords.
Yeah, I think that also like it's interesting how that's so different of a philosophy from what I usually use things that I'm vocal arranging. Like my background from a backing vocal perspective is I wouldn't say the opposite, but it's definitely very different from that, which is to have like pretty much as much of the chord or even more complicated stuff than is happening in the instrumentals in the vocals at a given time. I think that like when I was making that original demo, I was sort of trying to do like a Clyde Lawrence style backing vocal, where I'd say that probably the primary feature of that in my mind would be like having things be so like bringing you to the home key and the home chord at all times. But then even with that, I think it's cool to see how a lot of the things that changed most from
we're bringing it even further in that
demo
direction.
I made to the version that actually like was the finished arrangement, like we were talking about it before, the at the end of the bridge, like changing the 4 to a 5, like just making it more
yeah, to play that moment one more time. That's way more like broadcasting changing chords versus where we ended up in our arrangement of that. Where is it? It's here. Which is just a subtle difference, but it does make a difference in making it more, I guess I would call it Lawrence-y. But there's obviously tons of influences I have in developing that sound.
It also like that whole crazy the thing at the end was like I remember coming up with that rhythm, and because that was just us working together in your room
Right.
because I hadn't demoed any of that out, and I think pretty much all the notes that ended up being changed because I had it be something way more like
Involved.
chromatic,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that would draw way too much attention to it for what I think the video like was looking for at that point. But I remember coming up with that rhythm, and then you being like, "Yeah, that's great. Well, like here's what the notes should be," and it was the way more pentatonic thing that ended up being.
I love the chromatic stuff, but for this, it felt right. And then I think the last thing before I want to move on to the actual video is I don't actually remember. One thing is we like to open up these songs to have these like extra fun outros. I don't remember how much we broadcasted what the outro would be. I'm kind of interested to just listen down to this demo.
I kind of remember a little bit, but yeah, go for it.
Already a little different.
Singing outro, everybody having a good time. I think there's something. I think there's something in that. Maybe something different. I think there's something. I think there's something in that. I think there's something in the water.
So I'm kind of giving the vibe. Yeah, so I'm giving the vibe, but I'm not really like, I'm leaving it way more open-ended. And that's intentional. I think that like over arranging those things until you're in the room can actually be a mistake. But
I remember you and I talked about that section a lot because I think sometimes when we send things back and forth, it's like hard to know what part of it you're attached to versus not. And I remember feeling like for some reason upon a first listen to that, it felt too like happy out of nowhere. And I remember a big part of it was just very intentionally adding in the I think this, like just making sure that the actual phrasing of it
wasn't too perky.
Wasn't too perky, and that we didn't speed up was a big part of it too. Like that it felt like it was still in this like longing, melancholic,
like wistful kind of thing.
Wistful place, that it still like felt like you were sitting kind of like it felt still like heavy rather than like boppy. And I think I'm really happy with how, and obviously like it's all in what you already arranged, but I just remember being like, we talked about that, and then everyone really like sunk into it in the room, which was really cool.
For sure. Totally. No, massaging the energy of those sections. Uh-oh, we only have 10 minutes left in this free Zoom. No, thank you. All right, well, if it ends, I'll make a new one. Massaging the energy of those sections is like such a key part of making these feel good. And that's something you can really only do in the room, I would say.
I also think it's really important that you don't make the switch up that happens at the end, because now we've done these videos so many times and people are expecting something to happen that's different, like at the end of these videos, that it's going to go from being super, close to the original in some ways, and that it's going to give you the surprise ending or surprise section. And I think the trap of that is making a section that feels so disconnected from the song, and that it feels like it's going in a direction that like no one wants. And so I think it's been a really fun challenge for all of us to kind of make sure that whatever that surprise direction is that it goes in feels like it's organically an outgrowth of like the feeling of the song, and 100%. That it's not like too crazy of a departure, that it's like, okay, well, this is just a totally different feeling. 100%. Which is why I love this one.
I think it's also worth saying that if I remember correctly, I mean, it was a long time ago, but I think that the first one of these was the weather, right? The first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that outro, Clyde, correct me if I'm wrong, but
that was totally spur of the moment.
remember that being totally spur of the moment.
100%.
I think that it probably makes sense that the arrangement isn't as like precise for the ending until it gets in the room, since that's kind of the blueprint that was created from the first video. Like the whole rest of that arrangement was as meticulously thought out as this one was with the spreadsheet, but the outro was literally just like, I remember you just kind of
I literally did
at
it
the end of
just
the video.
on a take, and I don't remember if it's the take we ended up using, but like,
It is.
Yeah.
I remember because it was the last take. I think it was like take
yeah,
like 9 or 10, and we had a bunch of options that just didn't have that.
yeah,
And then we had like one option that did, and I remember showing it to someone. I was like, and then there's this one that just like goes into this other crazy thing, and we could maybe do that because we really like it, but I don't know if it's like too weird to, you know,
depart.
include because it's just a total departure from the song. And of course, like everyone loved it. And
Yeah, and then even for Don't Lose Sight, which was the second one we did of this kind of acoustic-ish style, I think we also only came up with that whole outro in the room as well. So then after, yeah.
that whole thing.
Yeah, so I think that like after those two were both so successful for us, then it became part of the model. But before we watch, I want to watch the video, and it's going to be annoying if I have to make a new Zoom. But like, Gracie, is there anything quick you want to say about like, in terms of, we're talking about the preparation that goes into it. I feel like we've given people a good sense of like the musical preparation that goes into
Yeah.
it. And then we just pretty much send everyone this splitter link and this spreadsheet, and that's all that they're expected to come in with. And then Gracie, like, do you want to speak for a second about
Yeah.
any prep you do on the visual side, the video side, telling people how to act in the video, what to wear, any like,
Yeah.
how
so
we think about that?
I direct these videos from a visual standpoint, and usually it's, again, as we discuss the arrangement, like then Clyde and I kind of end up knowing based on the arrangement that, you know, usually he, and in this case he and Linus really dug into, we know what instruments are going to be in the room, which is kind of like the first question. And either me or Clyde ends up having a sort of like poorly drawn image of like where we're kind of assuming each of those instruments to be. And usually then I kind of just go through the whole song and plot out where I think the camera should be. And the main person that's moving is me. So I'm pretty flexible in where I can go, but because I'm holding a handheld mic, but almost everyone else has to be kind of stagnant except for other band members if they're switching instruments or something. But like I just basically choreograph the camera blocking in my mind, and then I usually have a pretty in-depth conversation with our cinematographer, Leo Gallagher, who's so amazing and always brings so much of his own style to these videos. Like his sort of feeling like, you know, I feel like what I really love about the way that he shoots these videos is it makes you feel like you're really a part of the action as the person watching. Like you're not just watching a video take place, you feel like somehow you're like incorporated into the video as well and part of the fun. So we
It's
talk
also
broadly-
a side of his style, just the mere skill of learning, go here
Yeah.
now, catch this one beat, like over what is often like a 7-minute long arrangement.
Yeah.
He's really his memorization skills with that, because it's often getting figured out mostly on the
Totally.
day or the day before.
Yeah, I think that we kind of try to speak about it as much as we can in advance so that there's a slight bit of memorization that he can do beforehand. But then when we get in the room and we're finalizing, oh, you know what, it's actually going to be really hard for me to walk this way or whatever. Like there's so much information that's being thrown at him on the day that he has to kind of like quickly memorize and adapt to and like, you know, nail on the first try because we're singing it live. So like, you know, we really want to have all of the takes be options. So yeah, I mean, he's really amazing. And then in terms of like, you know, process, usually I'll watch sometimes the first or second take back or look at certain things and give little bits of feedback as we go. And in terms of everyone's performance, I think like the biggest thing that I always try to remind people of is like that, like you don't have to pretend to be anything you're not in these videos. Like this is really like in terms of wardrobe, I think the biggest note I say is like wear something that represents your artist project. Like maybe if your shirt says like fuck you, don't wear that just because it'd be really distracting. Although I like support if that's like part of your artist project, like, you know, I support that, but like try not to wear anything that would like take away from the message of the video. But other than that, like pretty free reign to kind of express yourself.
I think the whole
one of
spirit
my
of
favorite things about these videos is that it feels like a bunch of people who are friends but who have their own artistic identities are like coming together for this one occasion. And what I don't want it to feel like is, you know, the kind of like blob of background singers. Like that's just not what the vibe of these videos are, and that's not what they're intended to be. So, and then I think like in terms of editing, we do like a really thorough job of going through all the takes and finding, you know, each take has something really special in it. Like there's sometimes these magical moments that you're like, oh, I wish that we could, you know, whatever, that this take has such an amazing magical moment in it. And you kind of just, we all watch them down and write down pretty copious notes on it. And I make sure that also the I don't know if you noticed this, but in the room, it always looks incredibly warm and bright and sunny. That's a very conscious thing, and probably like the biggest through line visually of these videos is that the color in the room feels incredibly like rich and yellow and like sunny. And I think that is, you know, it feels like a small detail, but to me, the videos never feel like the videos until we get like the color timing correct.
And would you look at Gracie's background? Warm and yellow and sunny.
There's only 1 minute until this ends. So I think that what we should do is I'm going to make a new Zoom, and then we will actually watch the final product together, how it comes together. Before we do, I want to give a shout out to the other piece of all of this that is needed for it to work out so well, which is the hard work that Jonny Coe and Jordan Cohen do in actually producing all of the audio of this. So they work with Gracie and with me to discuss what the needs of the video are and figure out how to mic all of this stuff and work with the people at the recording studio to mic the stuff and in a way that is going to allow for the best final product on the audio. So let's pause here. I'm going to make a new Zoom, and then we will watch this video together. All right, we are back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
And can you hear this?
Yep.
All right, so we've talked about the musical arrangement process. We have talked about Gracie's process for preparing for the visual aspect. I briefly mentioned, but I'm sure they could speak more to it. Jonny and Jordan work really hard to work directly with me and with Gracie and with Leo Gallagher and the recording studio, which in this case was the bunker, to talk about how we're going to arrange all the instruments. Sometimes there's some give and take where it's like, oh, Gracie really wants to be able to walk from here to here and have the guitar be here. So then it becomes Jonny and Jordan figuring out how do we accommodate that. So it's a really collaborative process across what you could call some different departments. And all of that, you know, is preparation for doing something that is increasingly rare, I think, which is just having a final product be something that's actually captured live with a bunch of people in a room. So let's watch this video, and we can pause it or comment it. I feel like we've never done like a reaction video before, but this is like our version of reacting to ourselves. So here we go.
Everybody thinks that changing is cool, but I don't, and I won't, and I hate that I gotta. And everybody's got a dog and a wife, and I can't for the life of me think why they'd wanna know.
One thing off the bat is like you'll notice we have two people on each mic, which is good because like if you look at the arrangement on like I Want to Know, Ron and Bree have the same part. Rebby and Shad have the same part. Nathan and John are the same part. So that makes it really easy in the mixing process later to be like, this note generally needs to be louder. I can bring up the Nathan and John mic. So as much as possible, we try to have each mic represent a part, but of course there are tons of places in the arrangement where those people do verge onto different parts, and then you just have to hope that they're finding a good balance between
There's
each
a
other.
lot of that always with me and Jordan's bass mic, because there's points where we're the same, and there's always points where one of us is doing like a more normal bass part, and one of us is doing like a sub bass part of some sort.
Right. The other
One
thing,
other-
yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Go. You can keep talking about arrangement. For a second.
No, I was going to say one thing that I'm thinking about watching the beginning of this is just thinking about the stress of like having to decide whether to like call off a take if something small goes wrong at like various points. It's like as the video goes further along, the threshold for how big the issue has to be for you to like stop the take gets like bigger and bigger. But like the amount of times that I like play that first note and then be like, that wasn't good because it's so low stakes. Like I only let it go if I do the perfect version of that opening riff.
I was just thinking about visually, like it's such an interesting one. Here we usually start with these like big vocal moments, like in our acoustic-ish videos, like I'm thinking about Don't Lose Sight, or like I'm confident that I'm insecure. And this video, like, as much as it's nice to think like, oh, it would be good to build on what is a staple of these videos, like you have to kind of just do what the arrangement wants and not like force something onto it just because it's worked for you in the past. Like each project you work on is going to want a different thing. So I really like how patiently like each element comes in musically here, and then also like visually.
Yeah, like it doesn't even start with you on it, you're not even in it. Like you're not even in it until 20 seconds in.
And I think it's like
Go ahead.
You want to just like tell the story of like, where are we? What's going on? Like if no one's seen our videos before, like it's just nice to kind of be patient in setting the stage.
Yeah.
But you might also want to go full screen.
What'd you say?
You want to go full screen also?
No, because I feel like it's good to see us, but maybe.
Okay.
Maybe
I didn't realize that we'd be lost if you did that.
I'll make us a little smaller. And I'll make
Totally
this
your fault. I
bigger.
didn't realize that.
No, this is good. It's a good point. Give the people the visual.
I gotta know. I think there's something in the water,
So now you start to hear those background vocal pads. I remember being so unsure of how much to look at the camera.
Everybody's got a kid on the way, but if I did, I'm afraid I would just disappoint him.
I remember like in that moment being like, does Gracie think I should look at the camera? I don't know. I guess I'm going
I know
to.
that's always a question with these videos because
You do a lot of it.
I do a lot of eye contact with the camera, but you have to be like discerning about when to do it because sometimes it can feel a little like
Totally,
you
which
know, like
you're so
intense.
good at, and I'm not as good at.
I think
At doing it in a not weird way.
I think that's the only moment of Lawrence sibling 3-part harmony in any of these acoustic-ish videos.
Oh wow!
I was about to say, and that's something that isn't in the arrangement.
I know. I remember
I came up with that. I
In the
think.
moment.
I said,
the two of you had the
a 2-part
there,
harmony.
and then I think one of you said like, I guess it was Gracie said like, Linus, do you want to just do
no,
it?
I think I said the thing about doing the harmony, and then Clyde was like, "Oh, well, we should add a third part in," and
Yeah.
then he added the line.
So that is actually not in any of this arrangement. That's something that we added the day. Let's
and
hear
now
it
we
one
do
more
it
time.
in our live arrangement.
Right, Jordan sings Linus's part.
And everybody's got a kid on the way, but if I
It's such a great part of it.
I'm afraid I would just disappoint him. I wanna know.
Sam does a great job of vibing in the background of these videos without being distracting, even though he's not playing yet.
Gotta know. I think there's something in the water.
Linus with the glockenspiel solo. And I will say, like, I feel like a hallmark of your directing of these videos, Gracie, is like finding the right moment to like do a kind of like, and now let's take a little lap around the room to meet the band. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like Devin and
like-
Jonny have been in the background and maybe you've seen them out of focus, but now totally feels like the appropriate moment to like be like, get your eyes on these people.
Totally. I think like movement, like, yeah, if you start off a video with a lot of movement, then you need to like live up to that for the whole video by having a lot of movement. But if you kind of like dedicate the pursuit of being like patient with the choices you make, then like doing a move like this in the middle of the video feels so epic, even though it's just someone going around the room. One other like small thing, and this is such a small thing, but like I remember in the second chorus there, I'm singing with Bree and Ron, and I previously, like in the first chorus, I think everyone's singing as well, but there's something really nice about just if every time you revisit a section, you add on a little bit, since that's what we're doing musically, even visually, me acknowledging them having.
No, I think it is the first time that they're actually singing along to the Something in the Waters.
Yeah, but just adding in that like moment,
That moment right there.
You know, it feels big, you know.
Yeah, that moment. Absolutely.
One of my favorite parts of the whole arrangement, which I did have in that demo, was like the idea of having some of the backing singers singing just in the room.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually happen in these. Also, my actual favorite thing in the whole arrangement, I think, is that on the Something in the Water, we have two of the voices holding water to make it a proper like two minor chord.
Right.
I remember we had like a discussion about whether or not we were actually going to keep that, but I think that was one of the things from the demo that I was most like advocating to keep of the things that are less Lawrence-y than normal.
Right.
That's cool.
I love that. And shout out to Devin Yesberger, who's one of the other unsung heroes of all these videos. His organ playing is so good and adds such an important layer and is so versatile. It's not only like the big gospel playing, it's like adding this layer of warmth.
Everybody's as content as can be. Like, what spell are they under? What frog are they kissing? But if everybody's so much happier than
Me again, wondering how much to look at the camera.
there's something I'm missing.
And this is a nice moment where it's like, lets you come into the frame.
I wanna know. I think there's something in the water.
And now you can see we have some people singing along and other people like Nathan doing oohs, and then this is the best moment. So just to go back, that was this. But it sounds so much better, obviously, with the real singers. And it's great to frame us up to kind of finish this out. Me and Gracie together. You can't hear me? I was saying that it's nice how you frame up the two of us together to end that video.
Totally.
And then, yeah, this is like the classic fake out moment of like, is it over, is it not? And
I wanted to highlight a couple things that you did, Clyde. One is just what's in the song, which is the reharmonizations that happen
with
at
the ascending line.
End of the third verse, or sort of before that. I think there's something happens. That's just such a trademark, I feel like, of your and Gracie's songwriting, is to have these like choruses at the end of a song where you just totally flip around some of the chords.
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely emphasized, I feel like, in this version of it. Also, love that little thing that happens at the beginning of verse 3 where some people just hold the high one and some people go down.
That's a big hallmark of my arrangement style, is like the waterfall. Where was that? Right here.
everybody's so much happier than me. Well, I
So
can't
pretty.
help
That's also that's in the weather arrangement quite a bit too. Where is it?
Totally.
Yeah.
Let's-
It's basically the quiet version of the it's basically the quiet version of the Please Please Me verse harmonies for the Beatles though.
right. That's a great call.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's very like Everly Brothers 60s style to do that with like just two voices, but it's cooler to do it as like a soft backing vocal thing when usually you think you just have a triad of some sort.
Yeah. Totally. All right, let's get into the end. That's such a critical moment for me to be like, don't mess up the new feel. And all of this is totally improvised by those singers, the kind of singing they're doing there. Sam plays such a critical role here in keeping us in the right feel.
Something.
One thing I want to shout out, it sounds like you're about to shout out something. This is just such a subtle thing, but this is just like such a Jonny Co brilliance that you're hearing kick drum for the first time and like and it's so not like, whoa, here comes the band. It's like this warm, it's big, but it's warm. That kick drum sounds like so like welcome in this arrangement that's been so like broken down up to this point.
I was gonna just say I think it's really cool that in this acoustic-ish we went kind of in a different order than we normally do in terms of vocal part for who does their sort of like special moments when usually we end with Ron and Bree because their voices are the highest and it feels like a cool elevation to go from like lowest to highest, but
we kind of flip-flopped
we
around.
kind of switched it up for this and also like visually made it more interesting and like to kind of
you don't know
around.
Where you're gonna go.
Also, it was key changing throughout this outro, which I don't think usually happens, so it sort of gives it this like chaotic feel in the room too. It felt a little chaotic. It was like I don't remember who's singing now, but
I was trying to be like, this that.
And also to give credit to these singers, like they really do different things every take, which is really exciting. But like, you know,
makes it hard to pick the take.
Makes it hard to pick.
Not me. I do the same thing every time, pretty much.
Some people, you're.
Some people
like,
hone in.
A few other people do, but a lot of people change it up a little bit, which is like wild and really fun.
Usually I try to work out beforehand, like with the I'm confident I'm insecure chromatic thing, like I work that out the night before.
Right.
Like this is what I'm gonna do. No one can tell me otherwise.
I love that.
I totally get that. I would be that way maybe for some things.
Yeah. All right, let's hear all these people take their amazing solos.
There's something in the water. Something in the water.
So good.
I think there's something in the water. I think there's something in the water. I think there's something in the water. I think there's something in the water.
And note that the rhythm section is slowly growing. Jonny with the pocket. And playing off each other so well, you know? So Obviously the focus here is these vocalists, and anything that anyone else is doing is in service of trying to support the vocalists. But I just want to give a shout out to the rhythm section and the slow, subtle builds that are happening there. Some of those things are things that I've arranged and told them to do explicitly. Some of it is them finding their own way up that mountain, so to speak. But like, I think such a critical moment in making this not drag is when Jonny goes from playing just like dump, gump, gump, to starting to introduce that shuffle pocket of like, and it happens between the Linus and Jordan solo and the Rebbe and Shad solo. Listen, there's none of that. Listen to the guitars subtly come in. And that just helps give it that pace. And then another one that I think is really important is listen to the fill that Sam does coming out of Nathan and John's. He does like a straight snare fill, bop, 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 which just gives it such like heavy energy. Ready? And so great how it's super zoomed out.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is the first time we've been in like a true wide.
Yeah.
It's a very conscious choice.
Totally.
I really like being like very specific with when we're in what like size shots to kind of have it always feel like you're revealing a new thing. And one of my actual pet peeves of like videos in general, especially, I'm not gonna like throw shade at other like bands, but I think a lot of time to feel artsy, the shots are so tight on people. And I think what I love about Leo and the way he shoots is that it doesn't ever feel like you're being like moody for the sake of being moody. We usually live in like mids to like slightly tighter shots, but you still can feel the shape of the room. I think like I always get very claustrophobic when I'm watching a video and I can't tell what the room looks like, and that like really bothers me as a viewer. So I love that the way that he shoots is very conscious of like knowing what the shape of the room is, and but like even within that we still are waiting for the final moment to have this like epic reveal of the whole space.
Totally. No, I love that. And yeah, I think it's all in service of what you were talking about of like audio-wise, video-wise, performance-wise, making you feel like you're in the room.
Totally.
And then, yeah, I think we end with some classically overly indulgent hallmarks of a big arrangement, which is even within the context of an extended outro, doing 3 different tags. And then the chromatic one. Which again, none of that was in the arrangement. We arranged that on the day. And then even once it does the final one, the chord it lands on isn't even resolved. It's a 4/1. So it's like just literally like milking this ending for everything it's worth. And so let's listen to that one time. Reharm. Great riff by you, Gracie. And then not even resolved, 4/1. And now we go to the 1. So there we go. That's the something. Go for it.
One other thing to note I was going to say is like part of what's really fun about this is like because we're all singing in the room and the piano's playing, but like none of us are like monitored.
No.
So like we're all just like singing pretty loud. Like that's also an interesting staple of this is like in those outro sections, like people are really like going all out. Like I remember singing this and being like, oh, I'm excited to listen back to it to hear if I'm kind of like in the right zone. But there's something very freeing about that too, to be like, if you want to hear yourself or to be impactful in this. And we don't do that many takes, so it's like it really requires you to go for it in a way that's really
We do like 7 to 10
risky and
takes
fun.
usually. Yeah, totally.
I was gonna say
It's a good
the-
call out, Gracie, that there's no monitors. I think Devin's wearing headphones and that's it.
Right. Yeah.
No one is
we're
hearing any
It's hard
monitoring.
also for the singers because like the loudest thing in the room are like the instruments, specifically the piano. Like
Yeah.
at the very end of this, I played the main
Yes.
little line again on the glockenspiel, which I always try and sort of every take give Jonny and Jordan something a little different to dig through, especially from a bass vocal perspective. Like I think it was 23 where I was just like totally I was like saying words and like making jokes into the mic with like a low bass voice. And I'm just always curious to see what they keep or don't. I didn't do it in this take, but in a lot of the other takes, I think I started playing as a tribute to your producer, started playing the Conversations with My Wife chorus melody. Like
No way.
On the glockenspiel throughout the whole outro. You can hear me start to do it in this, but then I realized that I was doing it too late because we were at the end. So you literally hear me go boom, a boom, boom, and then you like hit the ending.
That's
I just
so
totally screwed it
funny.
up.
Well, I will say, Linus, when we got nominated for the Grammy, we started playing the acoustic-ish outro extension when we were playing it live on tour. And in honor of your choice to play that little melody bit at the glockenspiel, I did that on piano in that moment at the very end.
Oh, that's awesome.
Here it is. Nice. All right, well,
Just
Hope
trying to
you-
give it a little. Just trying to give it a little. You still believe
Full-
in me.
full
ending
circle.
on that thing.
absolutely. Well, if you're watching this, if you've made it this far, thanks. I feel like getting questions about, I feel like this process is one of the things we get the most questions about, every aspect of it. So we are so honored to be nominated for this Grammy, and it felt like as good a time as any to try to give that full breakdown of what that process looks like. So yeah, thank you guys for watching these videos. They're genuinely some of the most fun things to do. We started making them because we thought it would be fun, not because we thought they would necessarily be as successful as they've been. So it's one of the biggest honors of our career to have people like these videos and have it be an important part of our, band's operation, let alone being nominated for a Grammy. So thank you guys for watching. And if you vote for the Grammys,
Consider us.
consider us. All right, love you guys.
Bye.